So let's be real. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, man, I wish my teeth were a bit straighter? But then almost immediately, your brain jumps to the cost, right? Or maybe the thought of having a mouthful of metal? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of clear aligners and find out if that perfect smile is actually way more within reach than you think.
It's a huge question, isn't it? Is a perfect smile some kind of luxury item? We all know that feeling, that little boost of confidence you get from a great smile. But for so long, getting there felt like you had to pick between two pretty tough options. And this slide just lays out that old dilemma perfectly. On one side, you had your traditional braces. Yeah, they worked, but let's face it, the metal mouth look wasn't exactly a crowd pleaser, and they could be really uncomfortable. Then, on the other side, these amazing premium clear aligners show up. Super discreet, super cool, but with a price tag that was just, wow, way out of reach for most people. So you were stuck, right? You had this huge gap where people wanted something that looked good and didn't break the bank.
Okay, so here's our game plan for figuring this all out. We'll start with that smile dilemma. Then we'll look at the affordable new choices out there. We'll zoom in on what makes a company like ClearPath stand out, walk you through the whole process from start to finish, and finally wrap it all up so you can make a really smart decision for yourself. All right, first up, the smile dilemma. You know, the high cost of confidence.
But then, everything started to change. This is where we get to a clearer, affordable choice and how technology completely shook up the world of orthodontics. And that brings us to this really important idea, affordable aligners. Now, this isn't just a fancy way of saying cheap. The key phrase here is democratizing dental health. Think about what that means. It's about creating a whole new category of treatment that finds that sweet spot between cost and quality. It's about opening the doors so millions more people can get access to a smile they love. And that's where a company like ClearPath comes into the picture. They've really made a name for themselves in this space. What's cool is they're a global player, but they also have local roots, so they get it. Their whole mission is built around bridging that exact gap we've been talking about, the one between super high quality and a price you can actually afford. So you might be wondering, how do they actually do that? How do they balance cost and quality? Well, that's what we're digging into next, the ClearPath difference. And spoiler alert, it has everything to do with why things like certifications and having a real dentist involved are so important. This chart just spells it out so clearly. First thing you see? The price. ClearPath is way more affordable than the big international brands. But here's the really crucial part. Look at the next two rows. They have the same FDA approval, which is the gold standard, plus a local DRAP approval. And maybe the biggest deal of all, the supervision. It's always dentist supervised. This isn't one of those direct-to-consumer kits where you might never actually see a professional. That's a huge safety net.
So let's break that down. First, that FDA approval. Think of this as the global stamp of approval for safety. It means the materials they use are safe for your body, they're non-toxic, and they've passed some really strict international health regulations. Honestly, this should be the absolute minimum standard for any medical device you're thinking about putting in your mouth.
But then, ClearPath adds another layer on top of that, which is pretty unique. They're the only ones in Pakistan with DRAP approval. That's from the Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan. It's like an extra seal of trust, making sure the product has been specifically checked out and approved for the local market. So what does all this technical stuff mean for you as a patient? Well, the benefits are pretty awesome. They're basically invisible. They're designed to be comfortable so no sharp edges poking your gums. You can pop them out to eat whatever you want and to brush and floss like normal. Plus, you get to see this cool 3D preview of what your teeth will look like before you even start. And of course, the big one, it's cost effective. Okay, so let's say you're thinking, this sounds pretty good. What's the process actually like? Let's walk through your journey to straight teeth. It's probably more straightforward than you think. It all kicks off with a consultation with a certified dentist. I want to stress that. This is not a do-it-yourself kit. They take a super high-tech 3D scan of your mouth, no messy impressions. From that scan, they build your custom treatment plan. And you get to see a 3D simulation of the before and after. Once you say go, you get your set of custom aligners. You'll wear each one for about 2 weeks for around 22 hours a day. You'll have a few check-ins with your dentist along the way to make sure everything's on track. And then, once you're done, you'll wear a retainer to keep that amazing new smile right where it belongs. Simple as that.
All right, we've covered a lot. So, is this the right move for you? Let's get into making the smart smile decision by weighing all the pros, the cons, and the things you absolutely need to consider.
Look, no treatment is a magic bullet for everyone, so it's really important to look at the whole picture. The pros are huge, right? They look great, you have total freedom with what you eat, your oral hygiene is better, and sometimes the results are even faster. But on the flip side, you've got to be disciplined. That 22 hours a day thing is no joke. You might have a tiny bit of a list when you first start, and let's be honest, these aren't meant for really complex, severe orthodontic cases. And this leads us to maybe the single most important takeaway. When people are just chasing the absolute lowest price, it's tempting to look at unapproved, unsupervised aligners you might find online. But this is a serious warning from the source material. Doing that can lead to some really scary stuff, allergic reactions, your gums receding, or even losing teeth. It's such a critical reminder that this is a medical procedure, not just buying a cosmetic product. So in the end, the choice isn't really about finding the most expensive thing out there or the absolute cheapest. It's about finding the smartest value. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When it comes to choosing your smile, something that affects your health and your confidence every single day, what really matters more to you? The price tag or the peace of mind that comes from knowing it's safe and supervised by a professional?